All right, sixth graders, so this is to help you with questions 3 and 4 from the Math Mania, and I'm assuming also on the assessment. It says the most common women's shoe size in the U.S. is reported to be an 8. A shoe store uses a table like the one below to decide how many pairs of size 8 shoes to buy when it places a shoe order from the shoe manufacturer. All right, so the total number of pairs of shoes, if they need 45, they know they'll buy 10 size 8. If they know they need a total of 315 pairs of shoes, they know they'll purchase 70 size 8. All right. What is the ratio of the number of pairs of size 8 shoes the store orders to the total number of pairs of shoes? Okay, so we need size 8 to the total. I'm just using the letters here. Size 8 to the total. So I could do 10 to 45. That would be acceptable. I could write it as 10 to 45 this way. I could write it as 10 over 45. These, I believe, should be all acceptable ways to write the ratio, either using the word to, using a colon, or using a fraction bar. Not sure if your teachers would want it in simplest form or not. Let's go ahead and write that ratio in simplest form. So I'm going to take my 10 over 45. I find it easier to look at it in fraction form, but that's just my personal view. And if your teachers need it in simplest form, what's a number that I can divide both 10 and 45 by? Oh, I could divide 10 and 45 by 5. Both could be divided by 5 to write that in simplest form. 10 divided by 5 is 2. 45 divided by 5 is 9. So I think the ratio in simplest form you'd write as 2/9 or 2/9 or 2:9. All right. Write an equation that shows the relationship between the number of size 8 shoes to the total shoes. So we need an equation showing the number of size 8 shoes to the total shoes. Several ways to go about this. I'm going to show the 7th grade way, and then we'll see what the 6th grade way might look like. Number of size 8 shoes to the total. So in 7th grade, we would do size 8 to the total. Okay? So for you, your size 8 would be S, the total would be T. So we would have S to T equals, and then we would put in our ratio in simplest form because this was S to T. So as 7th graders, we would then write 2 to 9. And that's the equation we would write. I'm not sure that that's what your 6th grade teachers would want you to write, but that is an acceptable equation. And then I'll show you several acceptable equations. Okay, so this would be an acceptable equation. You could also have S equals 2 over 9 times T. Every pair of size 8 shoes, if you take the total and multiply by 2/9, you'll get the size 8. And now I'm really probably going to freak you out, but you could also do the total equals 9/2 times your size 8 shoe. So then they want to prove that the equation works. So well, not just to me, mathematically, all 3 of these equations work. All 3 of these equations are totally acceptable. So if I want to prove that it works, if I have S over T equals 2/9, to prove it works, I would just choose one of my values here. I'm just going to choose these values. So my S is 40, my T is 180. So I would do 40 over 180 and show that that's really 2/9. Well, if I take 40 and divide it by 20, I get 2. And if I take 180 divided by 20, I get a 9. So I've proved that that equation works. I want to prove that all three of these equations work. Prove equation works. In 7th grade, we do all our ratios as fractions, so that's why we automatically go to this. But I don't know how your 6th grade teachers handle it. So let's prove that this one works. S equals 2/9 times t. So that means I can use the same exact values here. So if I did 2/9 times 180, what am I hoping to get for S? I'm hoping to get 40. So this is the same as 180 over 1. 9 goes into 9 once. 9 goes into 180. 9 goes into 18 twice. So 9 goes into 180 20 times. 2 times 20 is 40. Yay, that one works. And the last equation, t equals 9/2 times s. So t equals 9/2 times, in place of s, I'll put a 40, and then I'll keep my fingers crossed that the total comes out to be 180. So here I'll put a 40 in. So the 40 is the same as 40 over 1. 2 goes into 2 once. 2 goes into 40 twice. 9 times 20 is 180. Any one of those equations should receive full credit if you were asked this on a test. All right, I hope that helps.